Faith Middleton, and you are listening to faithmiddleton.com. It's the Food Schmooze team. These are our brand new shows, and we thought it would be kind of fun to talk about something that you can put on the grill now. You can match with other things if you want to. You can make sandwiches out of it. You can make yourself believe you're eating a steak. And it's a vegetable. We're talking about mushrooms. Okay.
Yeah.
So we like them. We like them. Oh my God. We've been having a ball talking about all the different things you can do with them. So, first, let me introduce the buddies. We have Joanne Church in New London. We have Carl Franklin in Quaker Hill. We have Mark Raymond in Old Wethersfield, and Chris Prosperi, chef and co-owner of Metro Beast Restaurant in Simsbury, Connecticut. And my dog Bon Bon is in the bed.
Hey.
Let me see.
What's up, Bon Bon?
Will Bon Bon eat mushrooms?
Better not.
No, he would not eat mushrooms.
That's not one of his
That is
keywords.
not good for dogs.
That's not good for dogs. All right, I didn't know that.
Chocolate-covered mushrooms, even worse for dogs.
I knew that.
Very, very bad. No, never. Dog never gets chocolate. Never.
No.
Okay,
Yeah,
here
good.
we go. So let's start. Chris, why don't you start us off? Because my mushroom things are pretty simple. So I'm not going to start with myself. Can you give us some ideas?
Yeah,
Can I just say before Chris answers that when I posted this topic, Chris immediately posted pictures of mushrooms growing on the trees and then in the pan and then covering a steak, and he said, "Yeah, I just had them for lunch."
Yep.
That was
You
gorgeous.
inspired me to have mushrooms for lunch. And yeah, it's wild mushroom season here in Connecticut. And you can get mushrooms at any grocery store. And I don't know, I just love them. I love them on steak. I love them as is. Yeah. And I just found this way of cooking them that has changed my life when it comes to mushrooms. And it's kind of like, and we've talked about this on the show before, like usually you want to do, don't crowd them in a pan, get your pan super hot, brown them. You know, I've even had chefs tell me you have to use tweezers and turn them one at a time and only have 6 mushrooms in a pan at once.
No.
And I know it's
come
ridiculous.
on.
So this is, I saw this online and I had to try it and I've been doing it ever since. So you just take a pan, you put a little bit of oil in it. You don't worry about heating it up or anything. You take your cleaned, I just used button mushrooms because they had just come in. I cleaned them. You just brush them off the little dirt that comes on them, or you can just rinse them with water, dry them nicely, and then I quarter them and I put them in that pan. You know, maybe it's starting to get a little sizzle in there, but nothing going on. And then I salt them, a little bit, and pepper on top, and then I start mixing them, and then all their juice, all that liquid that comes out of the mushroom ends up in the pan, and you're like, oh my gosh, I ruined it. I'm stewing them. No, you're not. Just keep cooking that, just like when we were talking about doing stews. You can do this with meat as well, and you just keep cooking them until all that liquid that has come out of the mushrooms just evaporates out. And then just at that point, I take I don't even know, maybe just a half a tablespoon of butter and put it in the pan. And these brown up so gorgeously once that liquid comes out. And then I just kept them going. I put a couple sprigs of thyme in there and just keep browning them. And then as soon as I get the right color, and I like them nice and caramelized, I take a couple little pieces of garlic and throw it in there. Then I hit it with red wine, a dash of balsamic, reduce that till it's dry, and then I just hit it with a little beef broth, and you can use jarred or canned beef broth, and a little bit of butter, and I put that on my steak. Oh my God. Was it
Love it on steak, yeah.
Because they soak up all that stuff. They're sponges.
If I let you go, you would add 57 ingredients.
No, it's only mushroom, salt, pepper, a little balsamic, and red wine. Boom, done.
Some garlic.
Yeah, some thyme and garlic. But oh my God.
It sounds good to me, man.
The problem with the button mushrooms, and that's what I use, they don't have tons of flavor because they're grown indoors. They're right on a medium. They're not wild mushrooms. They don't have that foresty taste, that wild. When I do wild mushrooms, you don't even have to use salt sometimes. They're so strong.
Oh, yeah.
But the button, they need something to soak that up. But oh my gosh, you could take this mix and face that and just put it on a sandwich with some mozzarella cheese. Oh my gosh. It would be like eating a steak sandwich.
It really, really is. It's so fantastic. Hey, who's got a sandwich idea?
Oh, I do. If you want me to go again, I've got a sandwich. Oh,
get it, Chris. Go get
grilled
it, Chris.
portobello mushrooms. And that you can do on your grill. Take 2 caps per person, and I take I take a spoon, just a regular like soup spoon, and I scrape the gills out. You take the little stem off. Don't throw the stem away. You can use that for other things,
Stock, yeah.
stock or whatever. And then I scrape the little brown stuff off the gills, and then I just take it and just drizzle a little olive oil, salt, and pepper, and let it sit for a minute in the bowl. And then I heat up my grill just like I was grilling a steak, super hot. Nice, right? Put them on there, drop the lid, get them nice and charred on one side, flip them over, done. You know, they take only a few minutes, and then just some toasted baguette, right? Maybe a little brie cheese, and take that mushroom and put it on top. That's all you need.
Yummy.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, that's
portobello
amazing.
and portobello mushroom, grilled portobello mushroom and brie sandwich. Oh my god!
Oh, yeah.
Throw a little bacon on
Crunchy
there.
bread.
Oh my God.
What am I
Yeah.
thinking? What am I
Oh
thinking?
my
What
God.
It's crazy talk.
Oh my gosh!
Everything's better with bacon.
Yeah,
Wow.
I wonder
you said it,
what's-
Carl. They're like sponges.
They are.
You know, I had this thing when I was in college. I did this thing, and I would, you know, my roommates would say, "Oh, can you make that again?" And it would be just canned potatoes, and you know they were already sliced. I can't even imagine how they started, you know, because they smell kind of funny coming out of the can. And then I would throw the potatoes into a fry pan with sliced mushrooms, and I would just wait. And, you know, until everything started getting brown.
Yep.
And then I'd, you know, put them on the plate, little salt and pepper, and people would go crazy over them.
Mushrooms and potatoes.
Canned
Yeah.
potatoes. Can you imagine?
No, listen.
I thought,
ever
why
since
did I
canned
do that?
chicken, I don't ever. I never mash cans anymore because it's surprising, right? What you can do with some canned stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, we're not talking about chicken in a can here. Like I told you that story.
No, that's
about
not-
my
no,
wife's mother.
Oh,
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we'll just pass that one right on.
Okay. Now we go.
So yes, mushroom sandwiches have
Good portobello sandwich. Can't go wrong.
No,
You got to make sure your bread isn't too crusty, though. Otherwise, when you bite into the bread, that's mushroom will just squish out the side. You gotta have a
Yeah,
Yep,
that's
you
nice.
want the right. I like
Yeah.
the those Italian rolls. You know, the soft Italian rolls for this.
Yeah.
It's great.
Lightly toasted.
Mm.
Yeah.
And so, who's next?
I'll go.
Okay, go ahead, Mark.
All right. So for me, it's I love to use mushrooms in frittatas or omelets in the morning.
Omelets. Yeah.
So I mean, we probably eat omelets, my wife and I, 3 times a week, and I always make sure I have at least shiitakes in the fridge, but sometimes there's button, you know, sometimes there's porcinis when they're around. But it is just I just love them. I love them in the omelet because they just give texture, they give depth, you get that earthiness, and then I always like to do something like either a Parmesan or a Gruyere cheese to blend in with it.
Oh, I'm coming
So-
for breakfast.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it's real simple. You know, you start by sauteing your mushrooms, like Chris had mentioned, just a little bit of oil in the pan and saute them up until they're, you know, nice and brown and all the liquid is kind of evaporated. You throw in your scrambled eggs for your omelet while the pan is still hot, and then I lower the heat because I don't want that bottom side to burn, right?
Right.
And then I throw in whatever cheese of your choice is on top. Put a cover on it for a second and shut the heat off, and then just let it all just kind of slowly heat up together, and then give it about 5 minutes, not even, maybe 3 minutes. Take the top off. Everything is melted and integrated beautifully, folded in half, and I've got like the perfect omelet.
Oh,
That sounds great.
That's a great way to cook omelet.
Yeah,
And mushrooms.
and you know, if you want to add asparagus or scallions, or you know, maybe some baby spinach or baby kale,
So many good things.
can have some fun with it.
we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more of our brand new Food Schmooze episodes, and they are at faithmiddleton.com. It's great to be with you again, as we keep saying this to you over and over again. So, because it's really true. We love being with each other and we love being with you. So, we have something special, coming up in a few weeks, and you're going to find out about this because it's going to be a special location.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
The tease has been set.
Hey, all right. So whose turn is it?
I'll go.
Joanne Church.
All right.
Go ahead.
I'll be surprised if not one of you get this. But what did the girl mushroom say to the boy mushroom? You're a fun guy.
Oh my God.
Oh,
But
Come on.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
All right.
This is not a comedy show.
I thought Carl.
It is now.
I thought for sure Carl would get that. I love stuffed mushrooms, and it really kind of to me seems
Oh,
like
yeah.
a winter thing. All right.
Go, Joanne, go.
Stuffed mushroom skewers.
Oh my God.
They're so fabulous. So for the ingredients, depending on how many guests you have, you use white mushrooms, you clean them, and you remove the stems. I use the stems for the filling. I only chop off that very tip of the dried out, yucky looking stem. A cup of flat leaf parsley, you chop it up. 6 ounces of spicy or sweet Italian sausage, casings removed. Now, you don't have to brown it, but sometimes I do just to be sure.
Yeah.
2/3 cups breadcrumbs, a half a cup freshly grated parm, 1 or 2 or 3 cloves of garlic, and 3 tablespoons of olive oil. So you preheat the grill to like medium-high heat, and then in the food processor, you process the mushroom stems and half of the parsley, and you put it in the food processor for like 20 seconds. Then you transfer that to a medium bowl. You add the sausage, breadcrumbs, grated parm, garlic, oil, and then you just combine it. And then stuff each mushroom cap with 1 or 2 teaspoons of filling, depending on the cap size, and give a gentle push to make sure that it adheres to the cup. And then you thread a skewer through the center of like 8 mushrooms, and you really pack them in.
love it.
They're touching
me
each
too.
other. They're
You're getting happy.
and then
They're really close together.
They're really happy together. Now,
It's a very intimate.
to make them
recipe.
even happier,
It is.
and to make this group happier, at this point, you could take a piece of bacon and wrap
now.
it around each
Oh
mushroom
my
cap.
God.
Now you're talking.
So,
See?
A bacon mushroom stick.
oh my God! Yeah, you just eat forget taking the mushrooms off. You eat it off the stick. All right.
Right.
So you brush the caps with olive oil, sprinkle salt, lightly oil the grill grates, and then just grill them for like 7 to 9 minutes. They look so great. You transfer them to a platter, garnish with the rest of the parsley, some parm, maybe some lemon, and they're a hit, a big summer hit.
Love
Love it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I think about Carl had this idea to do mushrooms on this show, and we were all writing back and forth and saying, what should we do? And then Carl wrote this about mushrooms, and I thought, I feel like mushrooms are a fall food.
Yep.
Yeah.
In my head, it feels that way. And
Same.
and then we start doing this, and I think I want to have mushrooms
Right.
every day. Like if I could.
Right. Well, there's nothing wrong with a big steak like Chris had for lunch, slathered in mushrooms in
that was
August.
gorgeous.
No.
Any time of
Yeah.
year.
Grilled steak with mushrooms. Come on.
Can we post that? Can
Oh,
we post
absolutely.
that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got all sorts of
So
pictures from
good.
Chris.
So I was, scrolling all over the internet looking at mushroom things, and I came upon this spaghetti, and it's called umami loaded pasta. It skips the meat, and it's lots of pasta with some, tons of garlic and a million mushrooms, and that stovetop, cooked. And everybody who seemed to review this recipe gave it 5 stars. And so it's mushroom and garlic spaghetti dinner. And now, doesn't that sound good?
I love
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So good to me.
You could make
know.
like a bolognese with mushrooms, and it would be just like a meat sauce.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I know some folks asked for some vegan ideas, and there is vegan mushroom meatballs.
Oh yes.
So yeah.
Yeah. We've done mushroom burgers, right? I've done that. I think we did that.
Oh,
with
yeah.
Last Faith,
Yeah,
where we,
absolutely.
right? Mushrooms, and you just, because it gives it the vegetarian burger that kind of meaty taste and chew too, right? Texture, not just the taste, but also the texture.
So at the
Yeah.
local supermarket, every time I see them, I buy them. They have, I think it's Stop and Shop. They have stuffed mushrooms already prepared, and
Yeah.
there's no filler in them. There's no breadcrumbs or anything like
Yeah.
that, so they're good for me. But they're stuffed with cheese and onions and bacon and
Artichoke, I think.
Yeah,
Oh,
Those are-
Oh, wow.
yeah, and you just put them in the toaster oven. And that's
I want some of that.
yeah. I don't know why I forgot when we talked about mushrooms. That's the one thing that didn't pop in my head, and I
What?
absolutely love stuffed mushrooms.
yeah.
Oh my God! What a
Yeah.
great vessel for
Yeah.
just a great little snack, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great
you
way
can
to
put
start a meal.
anything in them.
You can put
Yeah.
anything in it.
Right?
Absolutely.
I've had crab meat ones that I loved. I had
Sausage
right?
stuff.
Sausage, like
Yeah.
Joanne
Oh,
did.
yeah.
yeah.
So
Oh,
let me tell you how I
cheese.
make mushrooms. I
Carl.
yeah, I have a specific way that I mean, it's kind of like what Chris does, but I make ghee ahead of time,
Yep.
which is really brown butter, right? It's brown butter without the milk solids. You let the milk solids fall to the bottom and toast, but you have that brown butter flavor. And so I put that right in a pan and heat that up, and I'm using Baby Bella's most of the time.
Yep.
Yeah. So I do like button mushrooms too, but I get Baby Bella's when I can.
A little
in-
more flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interestingly, Stop and Shop has Baby Bella's and button mushrooms, and that's about it. But Big Y, they have a lot. They have Hen of the Woods
Yeah.
mushrooms sometimes.
Yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those taste like chicken. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well, anyway, so I cut them up, and I right away throw in chopped rosemary, salt, white pepper, and garlic, and I toss those all together. I don't use oil; I just use the ghee, and get those all sizzling and smoking, and that is like heaven for me.
Oh yeah.
Heaven, right?
Because you
Butter
get
and
that
mushrooms.
brown butter flavor with the garlic and rosemary.
Great stuff right there.
That's my and the white pepper is a different flavor than black pepper.
Yeah.
It just
Different heat
It's
intensity,
different,
too.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I like it.
Love it.
In the fall, I would make a mushroom soup. I would take all of that stuff
Oh, yeah. Oh,
in chicken stock and then
Yeah.
blend it
yeah.
and
Yeah.
with heavy cream.
Yeah.
Oh, I
My mom
love
used to
mushroom
go
soup.
up into Mohawk State Forest in Cornwall, and she literally would come out of the woods with a half a bushel of oyster mushrooms.
Wow.
Oh,
And, more than you could eat. But she would freeze. She would make that same, what you were just saying, that kind of stew thing,
Yeah.
and put it in freezer bags. And we'd pull that out in the middle of winter. And I'm telling you,
Oh.
nothing like, because you get the taste of the summer mushrooms, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Those wild mushrooms. And, nothing better.
Do you guys know where to get morel mushrooms? I've never had them, and I've only
Oh
seen
my
them
gosh.
dried.
Yes.
We get them here every spring. We have a woman, Marlene, who gets us mushrooms. Some years are banner years and we get like sheet pans of them.
Wow.
And some years like this year wasn't very much. You get 2 or 3. And it really is the year, they do grow around here.
yeah. Isn't it 2 seasons, 2 shoulder seasons, Chris?
No, it's just the spring.
Is
It's
it just the spring?
Yeah, it's just the spring, and the conditions have to be just right or you don't get them. And oh my gosh, but when you do,
I hear they're
Whew.
the best, but what do they taste
the
like?
best. They're earthy.
Yeah.
Mm.
Earthier
Yeah.
than most mushrooms.
Yes, and so flavorful. The liquid that comes out of them is so intense, umami, that savory, woodsy kind of flavor that wild mushrooms have. There's nothing like them. They're like the king of the wild mushroom.
And is there an issue with grit with those things?
We wash them really well, that's the thing. When you get real wild mushrooms, like even the ones that were growing on my friend Lou's tree that I showed you that picture.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he was like, the only downfall was you got, there's
Yeah,
like,
you
you
gotta
get them
wash
in a
them.
pot, in a bowl of water and you're flicking little bugs and like
Yeah, soak 'em in vinegar.
needles and-
Yeah.
yeah. You have to clean them really well when you get wild mushrooms. And you really have to know what you're doing.
I've heard people like Martha Stewart say, no, you have to use a brush and just brush them up because you
Oh,
don't want to
yes.
get them wet.
No, we just
And I
take 'em-
thought to myself, what?
You don't want to soak them in water, but in and out of a big bowl of
Yeah.
water, just plunge and pull, and
Right.
it knocks all the dirt off it.
I remember one time we were in New York. It was with Faith, and it was a number of French chefs, and Jacques Pepin was one of them on stage. And he was actually peeling the button mushrooms,
Oh,
the
yeah.
outer layer
Yeah.
of the
Yes.
white
Old
skin.
school.
And I had never seen anybody do that before.
Yeah.
And then I started doing it because I was like, oh, if he's doing it, I
Right.
got to do it, right?
Yeah.
What's the result of that? Why did you do that?
Pretty.
Oh,
Make it look, make
Yeah,
it look,
it's pretty.
look
It's
nicer.
aesthetic. Yeah, it makes it look pretty. Yeah, you get that white kind of thing all the way through.
Pure white.
Yeah, he's so talented. He can do the where you carve them a little bit with the tip of a paring knife. I don't know if you've ever seen Jacques do that. It's amazing to watch the old French chefs and how they used to garnish things. Lost art.
One thing we didn't mention is risotto, and I'll tell
Oh.
you, mushroom risotto with
yes.
all those wild mushrooms.
It's the
Oh, yeah.
king of. It's the king of a mushroom dish. It's
What are we
another one that I
thinking?
forgot.
Yeah, it's a great entree, or
Right.
you could use it as a wonderful side
side on
dish.
braised
right.
short rib.
Oh,
roast
yeah.
chicken.
Oh.
Mashed potatoes.
And I tell you what, if you make a stock with your stems and your mushroom trimming and you make your risotto with that stock, oh my gosh, the flavor comes through.
Yeah, so good.
Can I be the mother on this show? And I just want to say, listen, do not go out into the woods unskilled
Yes.
and
Yeah.
start
No,
picking mushrums off of trees. And
No.
no.
it's okay. I watched a YouTube video.
I had a doctor friend in New Haven, and he was a specialist in mushrooms, and he was called in pediatrician, called in constantly to the emergency room to, save somebody's life because they were poisoning themselves with, they
Yeah.
said,
I wouldn't
"Look,
even-
The
mushrooms.
toxins,
I
yeah.
wouldn't even trust
Oh
an app. They have apps that you take a picture
Yeah,
of
no,
something
yeah.
and it tells you what
I
it
know.
is.
When people ask me, Faith, I always tell them there are groups. There's mycology societies. We have one in the Farmington Valley. There's one in the Connecticut River Valley. And they go on walks with mycologists so they know what they're doing. And then I feel safe. It's the only time I've ever done it where I've gone to get mushrooms myself is with a group where you have trained people that know what they're looking at.
It's one of the things I've always wanted to do in my life is go out with someone who really knows what they're doing and just kind of walk around.
And they all say the same
Chris
thing.
will
They
hook
all
you
say,
up.
"Oh, it's easy. You can tell the difference." And I'm like, "I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Nope,
I don't care how easy it is. I'm not doing it."
not rolling the dice. No way.
I was going to, I'm just holding up a bottle of wine.
Look at
Just-
that.
So, Mark,
Yeah,
I wanted to,
I know exactly what it is.
he knows.
You know what it
I
is?
so
can't
it's-
see the vintage from here, but I know what it is.
I'll tell you, it's 2019.
Beautiful.
And this is a Tempranillo, and you've heard us talk about different makers of this, but this is Baron Delay, and that's BaronDeley. And is this right? It's just coming into market now, Mark?
Yeah, that's in the market. It should be generally around $14, $15 a bottle.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yes. And
Under
it is-
15.
Exactly.
I wish that I had mushrooms last night because this, am I right, Mark? This is,
That's such a great pairing. It really is.
Tempranillo and mushrooms.
Tempranillo and mushrooms. Yeah. Actually, one of my favorite dishes in Logroño is this little tapas bar called Angel Bar. And if anybody's ever been to the Elephant Walk, which is the tapas bar walk in downtown Logroño, you've been to Angel Bar. And
Okay.
there's one tapa they make. It's just one. And it's a stack of button mushrooms that are seared on a flat top grill with garlic oil. And then they're put together with a toothpick, 3 of them. And then they put a little baby shrimp on top.
oh, no.
And it is amazing with Tempranillo.
Knock
You
me
can
out.
look up Angel Bar in Rioja, and it'll just show the picture of
Of the
that-
shrimp and
that
mushroom.
tapa.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
Wow,
boy.
that
It is
sounds
so
so
good.
good.
it's amazing.
Mark,
And
you
that's
could-
all they do, Chris. They sell their
One
beer,
dish.
they sell their wine, and one tapa. And they are it's probably not much. The whole place is probably not much bigger than like maybe 600 square feet. and
Wow.
it just cranks.
So I don't know if anybody agrees with me, but Mark could make that for us and serve this
absolutely.
wine. We could
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
all
When are we
Huddersfield
coming over?
and-
Party at Mark's
I've got
house.
a flat top.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of parties at Mark's house, you mentioned, Mark, that you had a Santa Maria grill that you do the Argentinian steak.
Yeah. So
And that kind of thing. I've got a project in the back of my head to find somebody who welds and make one of those.
well, mine is a little bit more. It is an Argentine barbecue. I just actually converted it from the cast iron to stainless steel because
Oh, wow.
over time the cast iron kind of corrodes and eats away. And I've had it in the backyard now. Oh God, since we moved there, probably 2006. I think
Wow.
maybe a little earlier.
What is it? Is it like the one that cranks where you can
Yeah,
crank?
so
Yeah.
it's a grill grate with these V grooves that pull all the grease that you're grilling to the front chamber, and then there's a chamber that will take it down to a corner, and it drops into a vessel that you have to capture the grease. I use
George
like
Foreman style.
I use like a tomato
Yes.
can or something like that, and
Yeah.
it's absolutely wonderful because it pulls all the grease away from the wood fire, right? And you
good.
slow roast over it. So, and it's got a crank that goes up and down. So you
Yeah.
can,
Nice.
Yeah.
I usually start the meat out at about, maybe like half a foot above. And then I lower, as the coals get low and I flip, I lower it down
Drop
to
it.
about like 4 inches above the fire. It's
Wow.
great.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So
Yummy.
much fun.
Yeah, so I'll let you know how that goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're close to EB. You should be able to find a
I
welder.
should be able to.
You
yeah,
should be
in
able to
fact,
find a welder, no problem.
somebody in my family just graduated from the vocational tech school with welding.
There
And
you go.
and
Oh,
my
there you
mother's
go.
boyfriend Bjorn is an artist who welds.
There you
so
go.
he might have the
Oh.
gear.
I'll
Yep.
send you a couple pictures of mine.
There you go.
Cool.
Schematics.
The key is finding that gear piece where
Yeah.
you
yeah,
can
Yeah.
have the crank away from the fire,
right.
so you're
Yeah.
not, obviously you don't want to grab a hot piece of metal to try and
right.
raise it above the fire. That would not work out well.
Sorry for that tangent.
Yep.
It was not didn't have anything to do with mushrooms.
No, but you could grill mushrooms.
Oh,
Of
yes,
course you could. Yeah,
Very
yeah.
good.
Grilled mushrooms are amazing.
You can grill stuffed mushrooms.
Yeah,
How do you guys feel about marinated mushrooms?
I love marinated mushrooms. One of my favorite appetizers.
Yep.
On the charcuterie board, oh my God, I will
Yeah.
gobble them up.
Really?
We roast them whole and then marinate them.
I had those this weekend.
Yep. We
In
do a lot
at
of
the
them.
at the
Talking
Simsbury
about-
Outdoor
yeah.
Concert. Yeah,
Yep, we do. I don't even know, bushels.
we got some of Chris' takeout food, and it was amazing.
Now,
Yep.
what did you guys do? What was this? Tell me about this event.
So there's what is it? The Talcott Music
Yeah,
Festival.
it's the summer home for the Hartford Symphony. They play in Simsbury at a field. They have a band shell, and yeah, they've been doing it for over 20 years now there.
And we had Earth, Wind, and Fire music.
Yeah, that was cool, right?
It was.
You could hear it from the
amazing.
restaurant.
So
Oh,
good.
that's
They play
Wow.
September, of course.
Of course, Boogie Wonderland.
Yeah.
I mean, so many. We were
Awesome.
dancing the whole night.
I bet.
Oh, fun.
And Chris brought the food.
We cater.
Well, no, we
yeah.
actually
Yeah.
we had him cater it for us for our little group,
right.
Yeah.
and then I brought some of that Chateau Saint Roch rosé,
Yeah, I saw the pictures.
Oh.
and we were yeah.
Wow.
It was your birthday, wasn't it?
Well, it was a couple
It was
days
right
before
after.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was right
Okay,
after.
so-
Yeah. So much fun. So much fun.
So, people, here's what I think. Once again, I'm heartbroken that we have to leave each other.
Before my last joke,
Oh,
no.
come on, one more.
Hurry up, Faith. Get us out of here.
no, you're going to hear it and you're going to like it. Why do mushroom children behave so well?
I don't know why.
No.
They don't want to get in trouble.
Jeez.
Oh my God, we didn't even talk about truffles.
Oh, see?
Another mushroom.
See,
Yeah, we
Mushrooms
could let's do a
part
whole
two.
show on
truffle
truffles.
season.
actually.
We got to do a show on
It's coming
truffles.
soon, right?
Yeah, black,
Yeah.
white.
You know, for the past couple of nights, I've been having scallops at this Amarone, this restaurant in downtown Guilford.
Oh, yeah.
They have an outside, and I sit out, among the flowers, and Bonbon's with me in his bed, and everybody comes over and says hello to him, and we keep ordering scallops with truffle. A circle of truffle on the top of each scallop. And there's a little bit of juice. I don't know what the cream is, but it is. They are so delicious.
We didn't even touch on mushrooms and scallops together. Again, a great combination.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But truffle being the king of mushrooms, right?
Yeah.
Above the
That's
morels.
true. I know.
Absolutely.
Okay, people. All right. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to see you next week. The show is published by Carl Franklin after he does his magic editing, and then it's on a Friday. You'll see a brand new show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And check wherever you get your podcasts, too, if you're a podcast listener.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, people. See you soon.
See you next week.
Bye.
Ciao.
Big hugs, everybody.
Waiting for the summer to come.